Hey everybody, I'm still getting set up here. I'm ridiculously behind this morning. I do apologize. I don't even have my microphone here with me. So if just give me a heads up if you can hear me or not here. If not, I got to run downstairs. Hey Beckerman, hey Chris. Yeah, I was watching that little insanity. Why is this not going straight? Hold on. Here we go. Yeah, I'm still gonna stream Brian's on my TV here while we're going this. That was just wow. Okay. Does it, Beckerman, does it sound like okay? I just forgot the little because I have an iPhone, of course, you need the little attachment to go to the what do you call it? The lightning cable. So let me know if you guys could if I sound okay. If not, I gotta just run downstairs and get the attachment. Trying to load up Brian's show in the meantime here. Oh, let me lower that. Okay. Yes, I got Brian on mute here. Okay, good, good. See, I could do without it. So, welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome. I hope your morning is doing good. Uh, yeah, I Brian's show. Wow, Comic Journey. I could watch that dude all day, and it was just so great. Just how annoyed he was getting talking about Comic Con. I don't know. That was just very funny. And yeah, I felt bad telling him if you didn't watch his show. Comic Journey is right now. Well, this morning, I guess you could say he got to the Midtown Comics Astoria outlet. I've never been to the outlets before. I've been to a couple of their locations, and thinking, hey, the con is going on. Um, maybe it's a good time to go to Midtown. Maybe there's not going to be a whole lot of crowds or anything. And I remember seeing on their Facebook page that hey, they're actually closed today. So unfortunately, I had to be the bearer of bad news there. Hey, there's a couple people coming in. Borat, I think I said hello already. If not, then hello. uh, it's been a very hectic morning. By the way, I didn't put it on my channel yet, and it doesn't look like he's here yet. But David, Main Event Comics, was the winner of last week's giveaway. My giveaways, by the way, for the past 3 weeks that I've been kind of slogging around. Just again, I apologize. A crazy, crazy, crazy time at work. Um, anyway, I dropped those off this morning, so those are in the mail to you. And if you are the recipient of a giveaway, you'll be getting a tracking number by the end of today. I have it right here. I just didn't mail them out yet. But yeah, wow, they're still going. He's driving around now. That gives me a little agita. I haven't been into this city since before COVID, but I am one who never, never, never enjoyed driving in the city at all. Trev, I'm watching my little guy actually on the camera here too. I'm on dead duty again this morning. My wife had some errands to run. Unfortunately, her cousin passed this past week, so she is yeah, she's going to the funeral. I would be there with her, but with the little guy, we don't want to bring him around a whole lot of people. So, and we figure, look, if I like waited in the car with him, people are going to want to just come up to the car anyway. So I figure let's just play it easy. Staying out of the giveaways this week so others can enjoy. Yeah, to be honest with you, I'm not doing any giveaway this week only because I've been a little, what's the word, just unorganized lately. My comic room, which is also my office and our office, I should say. My wife will get past. She's that. Um, yeah, it's been a little chaotic as of late. I really have to get that organized. As you know, I've been bagging and rebagging, reboarding as we typically have to do. And I ran into a snag because I inadvertently ordered the wrong size bags. So I shipped those back this week. I'm just waiting for my credit back from BCW, which shout out to them. They didn't have to give me any money back. They actually are like, we're going to waive the restocking fee because you messed up. And I was like very upfront. I was like, hey, look, I may have messed up, but these bags are a little bit big for these boards. So, Yeah, I have to reorganize and reassess. I also I'm redoing the entire room and setting it for the first time. So I feel I'm getting stacks for people around, and I will doing those when I feel it's ready. Yeah, and I'm putting together actually a couple AOKs. One I've been putting together. It's going to be a little bit bigger because I'm sending it to the family, not just to the YouTube people, but also, I mean, I'll say this now because it's October. I'm going to be putting together maybe something special for the holidays, just for some of the people I see popping into the chat every so often. Last year, I really wasn't up in full swing yet. I was doing videos, but if you look at my videos from last year, I made some ornaments just for some of my favorite YouTubers and people. And I don't know if I'll do that again because that was a pain, to be honest with you. Uh, but I could go on, but check out that list video. It's be a lot shorter. Let's see, Beckerman. That's the worst. I just finished replacing boxes and took some long boxes from here, moved into my storage unit. Yeah, here's the thing too, and I've said this before. I don't have a storage unit. I had one, and thinking just because this house that we're in, this was not our forever home whatsoever, but it's a small house. Um, where space is a premium. And I've been collecting a long, long time. I have over 15,000 books we figured out. I'm going to be whittling those down. I intend to, at least, either through giveaways or maybe actually try to sell some. But yeah, I had a storage unit for, I'm going to say, about 5 months. I had signed up online at a low rate, and it was like something ridiculous, like $60 for a 10 by 10. And I got it 10 by 10, excuse me, just because I didn't really know how much space I would need to use, and that actually was a good amount of space. And shortly afterwards, I kept getting notices. Oh, we're based on demand. We are upping your rent, and it went very quickly from what did I say, like 50, $60 uh, to like I think they want last time they were going to raise it was going to be like $200, and I was like, yeah, I can't afford $200 a month just to store stuff. So we yanked it out of there. I should say my brothers and sisters helped me do that. I had shoulder surgery at the time, and was like, "Look, I just got to get it out of here." So they helped haul it. It was a couple trips, and yeah, it has been in our basement since. Where I should say this: it's not a traditional basement. Where it's on they call a raised ranch, which basically you walk in on the basement level. So it's on kind of the entrance level, I guess you could say. But I monitor the humidity. I've got two dehumidifiers in the room. One of the things that we did as soon as we moved into the house was we had to replace we put in central air. The house didn't have air conditioning at the time, and that really helps out too. Yeah, I have that big of a collection. I'm 43 years old. I've been collecting since I'm 13, minus 4 years. I've told that story before on my 7-minute stories episode. So yeah, it adds up. Um, yeah, and Beckerman, I've definitely have checked out every now and then because, yeah, I'll be honest with you, being that we're in such a small space, it is it is space is definitely a premium, but prices don't want to budge. Hey, Silver Knight Kyle, how are you? Thank you for subbing. Welcome, welcome. We're just kind of shooting around here while Brian is still on. I'm still watching him. I have it on my TV. It's hilarious. It's a stream of a stream. It's like Inception, but more understandable. Um, yeah. So what I'm gonna do? Why don't we do this? Because I have a couple. I have a couple unboxings here. Back into the comics for 2 and 3 years. Long boxes so far is where I'm at. Yeah. There's I yeah. Boxes are a thing. The only advice I could give you, jumping right back in, skip the picture boxes or the yeah, Zach. I had the exact same thought, to be honest with you. But yeah, I'll be honest with you. In my experience, skip the picture boxes, the graphic boxes they've been selling. They do not last. They're not as durable. At least not the Marvel ones, from what I've seen. Um, Beckerman. Yeah, and to be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm closer to maybe 17,000. It's just what happened. I was using one app, which I can't even remember the name. The app was terrible, did not retain the information, and their customer service was terrible. So about maybe 4 years ago, I switched over to CLZ. So I've been, as I'm rebagging, reboarding, I'm double checking to make sure that the comic is in the CLZ app. And I mean, I'm pretty up to date, to be honest with you, but you never know. Beckerman, very early happy birthday to you, sir. Yeah, I mean, the graphic boxes look nice. Like I said, it's just that I don't know if it's the glue. Maybe I put too much stuff in it, but I don't think that's the case. It just kind of popped out. Yep, Trev, 1979 here as well, sir. So let me do this. I'm going to get the books I read first, and I left them over here. I'll show you what I read, what my pickups were, give you my impressions of them. And then, like I said, I have a big unboxing. And somewhere in between, we'll talk a little bit about New York Comic Con at home, or doing it at home, I guess you could say. So, first, and realize this, no, I have not been back to my LCS yet. This is a very long span for me. Had an unexpected expense pop up. I think everybody can appreciate that. Hey, boy. Young pups indeed. Yeah, I had an unexpected expense come up, so hopefully I get back to the LCS next week. At least that's what I'm planning. On the third library now. Wow. Yeah, that's I like that. I'm not going to refer to my collection, I think, as a collection. I'm going to say this is my comic library. Very cool. Makes it sound grandiose. Um, yeah, so I hope to be back to the LCS next week. I know I just repeated myself 4 times on that. Yeah, money pops up. That's what it is. Oh, and by the way, I do have 2 videos to shoot. Hopefully, I'm going to get them done today. One is on my Battober experience so far this year. Yeah, it's been a tough one, really tough. If you're following around with that, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I do have a video on what I'm doing for Battober. Go ahead and check that out. Oh, and Italian American Month too. I know I did a stream on that. I just wanted to give an update. I initially, um, samesies, same. If you guys have watched any of my live streams recently, especially like the 7-minute stories, my wife likes to chime in, and she's not sitting with me when I'm doing it because she wants to be able to hear the responses. So I'm usually downstairs in the office doing the interviews, and she's up here with our son, and she'll text an answer, a question rather, right over to me. And yeah, her questions are always, "Hey, how do you organize, or how do you take care of your books as soon as you read them?" Because of course, it's something that I'm in the midst of, but she understands it's a work in progress, and she's very, very patient, and I appreciate that. That's very cool. Yeah, our next house, I hope to have something like a really nice kind of storage setup. I would want to make something kind of like Matt Woods has. Um, yep, I said his name, so here we go, Matt Woods. So yeah, I'd like to think maybe we'll have it in the budget for a room I could just use for comics and streaming and all that fun stuff. And I know that I would get into some other things too. I do have a fair amount of actual like books in there too. Some that are signed. Maybe I'll do a whole video on those one day. Like they're non-comic signed books. I don't know the best way to say it. And there's things that I've been kind of itching to collect. Like I have a bunch of CDs right now, but no CD player. So I would love that just downstairs. And I've always wanted to get into vinyl, but I'm a little afraid into jumping into another collection. But enough of that. I'll get into what I read this week. So I finally got around to reading Ant-Man #1. This is a limited series, Al Ewing. And yeah, I'm not the biggest Ant-Man fan, but to be honest with you, the cover jumped out to me the most. Um, this is a fairly interesting read. Um, it's done kind of an older style itself, the interiors. Um, well, I should say it kind of goes back and forth. So, and who's this artist? Riley. It's not Riley Brown. Well, yeah, that wouldn't make sense. They wouldn't put his first name in his instead of his last name. Tom Riley, who I'm not quite sure if I'm familiar with, to be honest with you. Yeah, Silver Knight. I do have a few. Maybe I'll show that off one day. So he kind of goes back and forth between the future and, in this case, the past. So I like when he's in the future, you've got this kind of flat style here, which is very kind of contemporary, maybe a little bit of deco. I like that a lot. And then when he goes into the past, they use this kind of older style to make it look like it's an older comic from the 60s. Similar to what like Ed Pixar does with like those Grand Design books from a few years ago. And I mean, the story itself, it's kind of strange. Um, basically, oh, Beckerman. I want to see that one. Hold on. I feel the same way about vinyl. Looks like I really get into it, but don't think it would. Yeah, samesies. I tell you what, though, I have two albums I kind of got suckered into. Two records and no record player, but that's okay because I have boxes of CDs from my youth and no CD player right now. That's a whole nother story. Um, the story in the past is kind of strange itself. It's basically like these D-list characters have teamed up to go after Ant-Man, and the Wasp comes to his rescue. But really what's intriguing about this is the Ant-Man from the future is basically revisiting the Ant-Man from the past and present for assistance on something we don't know yet. I know that the second issue is already out. I think I have the second issue, but I couldn't find it. So if I rebuy it and I find a duplicate, there's a future giveaway. The third one is probably out by now, to be honest with you. Like I said, I am behind. But yeah, it's kind of like its very own Spider-Verse. I guess it's the Ant-verse. I don't know. But was definitely an interesting read. I did like that. Did like it a lot. Fantastic Four, number 45. This was the Hellfire Gala variant. Again, I'm a little bit behind on this. Fantastic Four I had been collecting. I love Dan Slott, but his run just wasn't doing it for me. Like, he had a couple interesting things, but I felt like it just wasn't connecting for me personally. I think I am going to go back and just get like the few books in his run I didn't get. I didn't know at the time that he was ending. I don't think they actually had announced that he was leaving the book when I ended it. So maybe I'll go back and get those. But yeah, this was an okay read, to be honest with you. I'm trying to remember. This was kind of like a epilogue to the Reckoning War. Maybe that's why I was a little disjointed from it, just because I didn't read the Reckoning War. Um, let's see. And to be honest with you, like the Reckoning War was kind of why I jumped off of Fantastic Four, because they went right from. I felt like they went to Empire, had 2 or 3 issues, and then went into Reckoning War. And I was like, I don't want to expand into a big series or anything like that. Empire, I didn't get anything. It was one of the first, I should say, crossovers where I just stuck to the books that I'm normally getting. I didn't veer off and get into the main story or anything like that. And to be honest with you, from what I read online, it didn't seem like much. Yeah, Beckerman, Reckoning War, I've heard good things and I've heard bad things. It just, when they announced it, it didn't sound intriguing to me. And seeing the conclusion, I kind of feel like they put everything back in place anyway. Um, so I don't know. Like I said, I'm not running to it or anything like that. If I see the more recent Dan Slott issues, maybe I'll pick them up just to kind of complete the run. But this one was just okay. And to be honest with you, I have the She-Hulk issues that Dan Slott kept saying, "Oh, it's I'm working toward. It's been something I've been working towards since She-Hulk." And I don't remember that. I kind of remember vaguely that storyline, but not a huge amount. Okay, Peach Momoko's Demon Wars: The Iron Samurai. I like Peach Momoko. I really do. Um, I've liked her take on the Marvel Universe. Uh, 3-issue mini. Yeah, maybe might check that out on Marvel Unlimited. Thank you for the tip. Um, so I generally like Peach Momoko. I like her take on things, and in the past, I felt that when you look at her artwork here in the books, not online, it has a certain kind of fluidity and energy to it that just hits so well. And it's the kind of thing that you could just stare at the pictures, to be honest with you. Um, I would love to see her work in person. Just if you've never had the opportunity to view an actual comic page in person, I highly recommend that you do it. We did it before COVID. The Franklin Museum in Philadelphia, which is about like an hour and a half from here, had the Marvel exhibit, and yeah, it was definitely a trip. Um, this story, eh, this one didn't get to me. Basically, that she's trying to do her take on Civil War, and it has some great visuals in here. And basically, the Iron Samurai, is their take on Iron Man, this guy over here with the funny mustache, kind of looks like Cliff Clavin from Cheers a little bit. I don't know why. Um, he he has part of his costume. They allude to is um, that universe's version of Carnage, who is basically right now a demon locked up in a cave. Demon that got his head chopped off. Um, and it sounds like there are some people who want to stop it, and some people want to help it. So they're kind of setting up their own civil war. Excuse me. Like I said, it hasn't been my favorite, but there are a lot of interesting visuals here. The actual Iron Samurai and the Falcon design, I didn't really care for. Hold on, let me see this. Beckerman, you got a question. Have you ever done the archives in DC? You set an appointment to see? No, I didn't think about that. Hey, Neil, how's it going? No, I was in DC for a wedding about 3 or 4 years ago. I'm going to say at this point, maybe 3 years ago. But we didn't have a whole lot of time just to sightsee. I think just on our last day there, we just very quickly ran around the mall there, the Capitol. But yeah, if I ever go back, that's not a bad idea. I'll have to check into that. I wanted to go to the Spy Museum, but I heard that it's not as fun as you would think it is. But yeah, I see when I go on places, I like to stop at like little museums or like in that case, like that's a very niche museum. But we didn't have that opportunity on this one. Um, so anyway, yeah, this has some very great visuals in it, just like the past ones. All right, Durs, take care, man. Enjoy your weekend. Yeah, that's exactly what I heard. My old boss actually told me that. And she said too. I guess her kids were younger at the time. Like it was interesting to get into, but once you're there, forget it. And actually, I know you mentioned that there are better ones for free. My company I work for, they set up different arrangements with museums in different cities all around the world. You go into a free admission if you just show your work ID. So that's what we try to go to. But again, we haven't been to museums in a couple of years now, just everything going on. But we went to the Natural History Museum in New York City last time and got in for free, and that was pretty cool. The visuals in here are very interesting. I like the Black Panther character design. I'm probably not doing it very well justice, just kind of bending it back like this. The Falcon design, I didn't care for. It literally just looks like a giant weird bird. And I think that, I'm not sure, but I think that this one is supposed to be Destiny. Um, but like I said, and it kind of displaced me a bit. I don't know. Maybe it's just been a while since I've read the other Demon Days series and the other Peach Momoko stuff. I didn't realize that those are actually set in the current time. I thought that they were older time kind of stories, and this one looks like it's set in modern times. Um, I may or may not check out the future issues. I don't really know yet. It kind of left me a little iffy, but we'll see. I jumped off Marvel for a little bit because I felt like I've been reading too much Marvel lately. I read The Silver Coin, issue number 12. I'm not usually into horror books. Um, I'm not afraid of them. It's just not my jam. I had read the first couple issues of Silver Coin, and I stopped when I realized, oh, you don't have to read every issue. It's more like an anthology type of thing. And to be honest with you, my LCS had a little issue stocking it at the time. Uh, but this one kind of caught my attention because I do like a good World War II story. It was good. I mean, it's kind of like Silver Coin to me. And anytime you have an anthology book like this, it's kind of like fast food. Like you know what you're going to get. You're in there for your Big Mac and your fries or whatever, and then you're done. Um, Again, it was a good story, not a great story, but one kind of thought that I had. Well, one thing, by the way, I might check out the next one just because they started. I guess this is part two of the story. There's like a small kind of backup story called The Dark Passage at the end of it. So that kind of looks interesting. So I might get the one before this and try to go into more of them from there. Um, One kind of thought, and Neil, you said Silver Coin is great. So I'm assuming you've read more of them than I have. I don't know if they've talked about the origin of the coin or anything like that yet. But when I'm not watching comic book shows and whatnot on YouTube, because there are a ton of them. There's other things I watch, and one of them is I watch like old kind of like Monster Quest or things like that from that the History Channel used to have, where they always have weird kind of. I think what the one I like to watch is What Lies Beneath. It's called. The guy's basically just telling kind of creepy stories and sightings from all around, usually the United States and stuff. But there was one that I watched recently, and I can't remember the name of the channel. It went into the lore behind these kind of German zombie creatures, and what I thought was interesting, and I'll tie it into Silver Coin this way, I promise. This particular creature, they said they found the only way to actually kill them was to find them when they're sleeping and take a coin and put it in its mouth. And I kind of that made me think of Silver Coin. So I don't know if Silver Coin is kind of rooted in that kind of mysticism, or if it's just kind of a weird idea like that. But I don't know, Neil. If they've talked about the origin of the actual coin, let me know. I'd be interested in seeing that. Like I said, I might pick up issue 11 and 13 just to kind of get a complete view of the story. 8 Billion Genies, issue 4. I know issue 5 is out already. I've been liking this series. I haven't met a whole lot of people who don't like this series. I know that the story's kind of not changed, but kind of gone a different way. But I like this issue because you're finally getting a little bit more perspective on who the genies are and where they're coming from. And yeah, just kind of like what I thought. And I said this early on. If you go back into old videos, you'd see I'd say this too. Um, I feel like the genies have a sinister purpose there. And finally, I think you're starting to see that come through. So this is halfway into the series. I'm certainly interested in picking up the rest of the series. Um, yeah, nothing really bad to say about that. I do think maybe the book's been a little overhyped lately, just due to the news that it's been optioned. But we'll see. This is the last book I read, and I'll tell you what I'm midway reading. Undiscovered Country number 20. Undiscovered Country has been a weird kind of journey here. It's really more of kind of I'm seeing a different kind of perspective of it. Yeah, bigger, exactly. FOMO. Yeah. Um, it's been a really different kind of book. It started out with this whole idea that the global economy collapses after basically China turns around and says, okay, time to pay up what you owe to the United States. And at this point, we kind of lock ourselves away from the rest of the world, and the virus winds up spreading around. And it kind of was weird because just as that was coming up, I've got issues 1 to 10. Yeah, and that's what I figured. But I don't know. I'm interested in seeing where it goes if they ever do that. Um, and it was kind of interesting is that Undiscovered Country was coming out just at the time that COVID had started, and to the point where I think about 3 or 4 issues in the letters page, or the letters from the creators page, and this is Scott Snyder and Charles Soule working one on one, by the way, and you can tell, at least I can tell, I feel like you can tell when the when the when the writer changes. It's just got a different kind of shift in there. Um, yeah, it's one of the few books that I'll actually read the editorial comments on that, just because it's so interesting that they go into, hey, we didn't know, of course, anything like this was going to happen, and we're sorry if anybody's been affected by COVID, and that this kind of puts them in a different spot, but really has a very deep and interesting history. It's waning on me a little bit, but to be honest with you, 20 issues in, I think they're starting to get to the end of the story, and I'm interested in seeing that. And basically, the United States is now separated into different zones, and this cast of characters had to sneak into the United States, and each zone is supposed to represent a different aspect of American history. This one, they're actually in the historical part, so it's kind of weird that you have one half of the team in the past, right around the time of the American Revolution, and the other in the future, where it seems very kind of uh, George Orwellian, I guess you could say. And yeah, it kind of leaves this issue off at an interesting kind of cliffhanger. So I really do want to read the next one. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it's definitely a turning point in American history and a solemn anniversary that is coming up. Um, yeah, that's cool. I know Midtown was selling some of them when they first came out, but yeah, I haven't run into a signed one myself yet. Okay, so that's what I read this week. I'll show you the. Let me see. I'll show you. We'll talk a little bit more, I guess, about Comic Con. I really don't have a whole lot of comments from it. I've been enjoying watching everybody's videos and pictures and everything from it. I haven't been to a Comic Con in a while, and to be honest with you, yeah, exactly, Neil. I knew it. I personally have not been to a Comic Con in a while, over 10 years at this point, and it's just because, like, the last time I went, I was like, a lot of crowds. You wind up spending a lot of money. Um, it's kind of like a been there, done that for me. But this is the first year I kind of wish I went, only to really hang out with different people from YouTube and stuff. To be honest with you, that being said, hearing and seeing some of the things, I'm glad I didn't go. Uh, I've spoken about this before. We're still playing it very safe. My son is very young, so we're not really going out into big crowds or anything like that. We're not putting ourselves at risk for bringing anything home, God forbid. I work remote all week, and yeah, so Comic Con, especially not just the sheer amount of people there, the fact that they had people like not masked even after there's a mask mandate would have made me super uncomfortable. So, like I said, I'm glad I didn't go this year, but at the same time, I really wish I would have had the opportunity to kind of hang out with everybody. Even I kind of toyed with the idea of maybe going to GarageCon. Reggie's thing he's got going on in North Carolina in November. But we're really not up for traveling right now either. That being said, I guess as I said, everybody who's gone there, I love seeing your stuff, and hopefully we all get to hang out. Yeah, Beckerman, same Z's here. Hopefully we'll all get to hang out or something like that one day, again, just to celebrate and just have fun. Some of my favorite times in my little minor YouTube journey here has been just doing things like going to the Brattons um, comic book garage sale and hanging out with not only the Brattons but Matt Woods, Paul from Psychedelic, um, Aaron from Double A Comics. Just hanging out and connecting with people, and even just like I've messaged Brian back and forth a couple times. I've messaged Reggie back and forth a couple times. I don't know. I just really like that community sense, and everybody who's here too. I love seeing your videos and just commenting and going back and forth. It really, to me, is what makes our hobby unique and better, at least in my opinion, than other hobbies. So what I'm going to start to do is I'll show you the new pickups I had, and then I'm going to do that massive unboxing. And I guess the timing worked out well because my wife's not here, and she'll. I know that she doesn't like when I get big hauls, of course, and I can understand that. Like I said, I'm still in very much an organizing phase. So I'm going to give you a preference with this first thing I'm going to show you. This is a eBay haul that I had, a minor eBay haul. I am putting together, like I said, an AOK for somebody, and I'm kind of finding that some of the things are a little harder to come by. So I've been hitting up eBay a little bit. I don't go anything crazy because some people are asking crazy amount for a book that really shouldn't be, I think, more than $2 in my opinion. But that's just me. So right off the bat, um, Beckerman, this may take you back. This is an amalgam issue. This is when they had the DC versus Marvel, and this is, I guess, in the mid to late '90s. Um, the After the or midway into it, you are probably aware they had kind of like these mashup of characters. Like people know Dark Claw. I remember there was a good Captain America Superman matchup. I remember JLX. Just a couple off the top of my head. Magneto and the Metal Men. I remember the title, but not liking it too much. And I remember there was another one with Bruce Wayne as an agent of Shield. I thought that was interesting. This is one I hadn't seen before, and I was interested in picking up. Orion. So it's a mix between Thor and Orion. The new, say, Asgods. Okay. They kind of, yeah, they kind of put that in. Hey, main event, we were just talking about you. Not really. Neil. I did go to Comic Con in September. Look around. Way too many people, yeah. And once I'd seen all of it was done, yeah. Expensive stuff. So yeah, I'm interested in definitely checking this out. These are the things that, like, I guess just because who really owns the rights to it, they're not on the Marvel Unlimited app, and from what I understand, they're not on the DC app. I got to check out the DC app. I keep saying that. I'm a little nervous that as soon as I sign up, Warner Brothers will just cancel it. I don't know. And hey, E-Man. Hey, Brian, I saw you jump in. Main event. I said hello to Trevor's back. Yeah, Brian, I have to tell you, had your stream going on my TV while I'm doing this stream. I, Journey is great. I can watch Journey get pissed off. Hey, Journey, he's here now too. I could watch him get pissed off like all day. That was great. I keep meaning to check out more Journey stuff. He's on late at night. That's the only problem. But I gotta watch the replay. There's only so much time in a day, I guess you could say too. E-Man's here. How's it going, man? So yeah, then I picked up some what ifs in that eBay haul too. And I'm not showing you the things I'm putting together for that AOK because the person who's getting that AOK is in the chat, usually in the chat. This is one I had never seen before. This is, I guess, from the second what if. What if Spider-Man became a murderer? And like I said in the past, you know what though? Even if you weren't pissed off, like when you were talking about yeah, it was just cool. Like it was just so, because what you were saying with the cons and everything was right, especially that one guy who just was like, yeah, I'll take everything for $7,000. And by the way, I kind of suspect that he might have been just a plant, maybe somebody that the store kind of threw in there. If not, he was an idiot. You're going to spend $7,000 in comics. You're not even going to try to negotiate. That's just me. So yeah, what if Spider-Man became a murderer, featuring the lethal Lizard? Lizard is probably my least favorite Spider-Man villain. Or why don't we? I shouldn't say that. It's just the least favorite of the classic Spider-Man villains. Why don't we say that? What if, starring Spider-Man, Arachna Morpheus? Very cool. Like I said, I'm working on a run with that. Luckily, a lot of the older issues that have spiked in the past couple of years since the animated series was out, I had already. So whenever I see something like this, I just kind of grab it. I have a fair amount of X-Force from the first volume. And to be honest with you, I needed one to kind of really help out with the shipping here. So I picked up, this is number 67. It's not a great copy. The white is usually a little, the white's a little yellowish on this one for my taste, but 1997 actually, from the year I graduated high school. This is Danny Moonstar, from the New Mutants. It's Adam Polina artwork. I like Adam Polina's work. Takes me right back to high school. That's just yeah, he was okay. He's an idiot. Normally, class time is a moron. Okay, yeah. Hey, look, the guy had $7 grand to spend on comics. God bless him. X-Men Classic number 50. This is just a really cool cover. I like that a lot. You've got obviously Havoc and looks like the Angel, Polaris, and Banshee. Artwork's a little wonky on it. Banshee kind of looks like the guy from Daredevil if he was in that movie Mask. The old Cher movie, not the Jim Carrey one. It looks a little bit boxy, kind of like old school Ian Churchill artwork, but I don't know. I really like the cover design. Those X-Men classics I always pick up if I could find them cheap. This next one I found cheap, and I'll be honest with you, I don't spec often, but when I do, it's cheap and probably is not going to have a huge return. But this is Silver Surfer number 53. And yeah, I know that this was at some point in the 90s because I remember, this is Infinity Gauntlet. I thought it was Infinity Crusade. So maybe it's a little bit older than that. But yeah, this is the first appearance of a character whose name escapes me at the moment, but she's rumored to be the villain in the Marvels movie. This was like $1. Rocky Dennis, yes. Thank you, Silver Knight. Like I said, I'm not one to chase spec, and I don't encourage you to go and run out and spend money on books you don't need or don't want. Most of them have original tie-in stories to the story they are reprinting. Oh, that's cool. I like that. So yeah, I mean, like I saw this cheap, and I had heard the rumor that this is the villain, so I was like, yeah, I might as well get it. It's not even a great copy, but it's like $1, so you can't really go wrong in that. Okay, so let me go into. I promised you a big unboxing, and I got it here. So there is a Instagram page, Hot Toys 05, that I've been buying from for probably since before I got married. So we're talking probably like 5 or 6 years at this point. Got to know the vendor Iris very well. She's good people. Actually gave me a lot of advice when I started doing artwork again. Maybe I'll tell that story one day. Yeah, so what I tend to do is, because, she'll ship out whenever you want to. So I just say to her, hey, whenever you fill up a box, don't send it to me until everything is filled up, because then we're just going to be mailing each other back and forth all the time. Now, her stuff is typically just dollar bin stuff, to be honest with you. And this is where I tend to get a lot of the giveaways from. Is that like button? Hit that button. I appreciate that. So yeah, that's why this one is a little bit thicker. And this is the first time too. I also bought something from her. I shouldn't say the first time, but I also bought something from her that's not comic related. And I'll show that to you first. White Wolf Mojo. I wish he was here to see this. He might appreciate this. Neil, if you're still here, you might like this. So my wife and I like to play video games. I was huge into games back in the day. Went away from it for a while. And my wife decided one day, she was like, it'd be great if we had like a Nintendo Switch we could play. I said, all right, fine. So I wind up using it more often than she does, but we do like to play fighting games together. And maybe because I'm a little bit older, I'm in my 40s, it's not too bad. I have a hard time playing fighting games with the little Joy-Cons, and I'm afraid I'm going to break them because they are hard. So she actually had a used Switch Pro controller for like $25. I was like, yeah, I'll grab that because I want to play my fighting games. I want to play. I think I'm going to download the Capcom Fighting Collection. Maybe I'll do that in the next check. I've been kind of waiting to see if it goes on sale. But yeah, so now I can play Street Fighter with my wife without killing my arm. Awesome. Okay. The rest of these are comics, I promise you. And I think there's at least 1 or 2 of these that I have already. So yes, be on the lookout because you might see them in a future giveaway. Okay. I definitely don't have this one. and I wasn't a fan of this overall storyline that DC had. But I think I had the first issue, and I think I hated the first issue so much I didn't get the second one. But this was cheap. This is Convergence Catwoman #2. Let me get my hand off of her so you can appreciate it. Kind of a cool cover. Convergence was, in my opinion, a money grab, as many stories are, many big storylines are. If you're unfamiliar, see you, Bor. Thank you for stopping in. DC was moving offices from New York to the West Coast, and they needed 2 months to catch up. So you had Convergence, where they had the old DC universes converging with the new one. And I mean, in reality, we're like 4 universes away from that now, I think. But yeah, I figured, look, it was cheap. Why not just get the second part? The Fury of Firestone, the Nuclear Man. I don't have much Firestone, but it sounds cool. And you know what? One reason I like to get comics from Hot Toys is she does give free stuff away every now and then. The Books of Magic #4. And a lot of these, I should say, are not in great shape. Like, I just kind of stopped because I noticed a couple spine ticks right off the top of my head, right away. And this is just an early appearance of Death, Sandman's sister. Remember when I said she throws in stuff for free? This is definitely one of them. Nomad #18. Yeah, main event, you're not wrong. This is quintessential early 90s Marvel. This is something that, a book I started, and if I find stuff cheap, I always kind of pick up just to complete it. X-Men 2099 #33. Now, a lot of these are just dollar things, so this is how she ships 9 times out of 10. When she does use bags and boards, I don't know where she gets this stuff from. They're usually not in great shape, so I usually wind up changing them out anyway. This is where a lot of my bags and boards go, actually, come to think of it. And yeah, I mean, stuff that usually is higher end, because she does have some stuff I've bought in the past that is either signed or just kind of like a high value. Those do come in bags and boards, but generally no. I will put those, of course, in bags and boards. Detective Comics 80-page giant, $5.98. And 9 times out of 10, when I buy stuff from her, I'm literally just filling in a run, or it's just something that looked interesting to me. In this case, and this is an old Denny's Cowan. This is part of Denny Cowan's run, rather. Excuse me. Like I said, some of these will just wind up as giveaways as well, or just look interesting. I've actually gotten a lot of indie stuff from her. Like, here's one that's bagged and boarded because it's signed. And this is Uncanny #366. I don't know who signed this. Livesey. This was kind of during my hiatus from comics. I do have this issue, but like I said, this one's signed, and it was cheap, so I figured, why not? You know what, Trev? I think I have that too. When you said Soldier Supply Box, I figured maybe that's where I saw it from. So yeah, that might be a future giveaway. I'm kind of organizing them as I'm taking them out. This one's still polybagged, but there's a hole in the polybag, so let me open it. Starting up a new Wednesday show with Grey Man on the UK. Cool. Yeah, so everybody check out Silver Knight on Wednesday. Shoot us with the time, and yeah, I might want to check that out. So I'll open this one now too. This is Civil War 2, which sucked. Excuse me, in my opinion, a variant edition. And like I said, there's a hole in the poly bag, so I'm just going to open it. That's cool. He's going to have might have Neil Gaiman on, we'll say, in the future. My prior manager, before I switched departments, she was a literary agent before she started working in insurance. And she used to tell me that she actually, I guess on some sort of like literary thing or whatnot, sat and talked to Neil Gaiman about his book. Was it The Graveyard Story, or I don't know what it's called. It's a kid's book. So yeah, this is the Joe Quesada sketch cover. It's a cool sketch. Like I said, it was cheap. That's why I picked it up. So we'll put that over here. Joe Quesada going to do some covers for DC. That might be interesting. Yeah, and this is actually no, this is the one I got for free. This is just a cool cover that kind of jumped out to me. And seeing it now, I see it's a Capullo cover. I didn't notice that when I saw it online. This one is bagged and boarded, but you can see the bag and the border just kind of terrible. You get that kind of, I don't know, like waxy feeling from it. This is Quasar rather, who I don't like. Number 28, but like I said, it's just a cool cover. You've got a lot of the Marvel heroes here, including Namor in his classic here we go. Classic grape smuggler attire. So, like I said, I don't like this bag and board. I'm gonna just get rid of it. Okay. And here is every so often getting some Wizard exclusives. So this is Dawn. Very cool. I have a little bit of some Dawn books going on. Like I said, I'm putting these in order. West Coast Avengers number 17. I think this is from the Magnolia run, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. No, not Magnolia. Milgrown. I can't say names at all. Somebody, I forgot who they said is the big West Coast. Was that when? Was it Circumstances was on Reggie? Am I thinking right? Was he a big West Coast Avengers guy? I don't remember. But yeah, pretty cool. Oh yeah, I'm working at time, so I'll probably have to catch a replay. But good luck to you on that one. This is one I have, but I think this one she actually had for free. And this is one that kind of more of a Palmolive journey. That's good. I like that. This is one of those books I think that kind of jumped up and then went quickly right back down. New Avengers number 10. Oh, that's cool. I don't have any original art pages myself. No place to put them, clearly, but it's one of those things too. I figure if I jumped into, I would just dive down deeper. Like I need to not collect things at this point. I have a fair amount of She in my collection, SHI. So anytime I see one I don't have, I try to grab it from her. And this is Grifter She number 2. Grifter, I feel like, is one of those characters. I know that DC's tried to really integrate him into their books heavily since Top Cow got acquired by DC. Oh, those are blank. But they just kind of never. I don't know. I feel like they try to put him into too many things. I don't know, and nothing is really kind of stuck. See, though, Bigger, I have to ask you, is he cool? Because I kind of feel like it was like Jim Lee was like, I need something that kind of looks like Gambit, but isn't. Okay, I'm working on a New Mutants run. This is a very cool cover. This is a Liefeld cover, but it's very beat up. That's why it was very cheap. This is the New Mutants Annual number 6. Yeah, that's true. He is basically Red Hood in my book. Journey, you're not wrong either. I didn't really read Wildcats coming up, but it's the only one I could remember. And here's Vigilante number 3. Bigger's probably liking this. This seems to be, I didn't realize I had so many so many, or a good amount, I should say, at least the DC books in this. Here is Batman and the Outsiders annual number 2. Very cool. Okay, I'm going to try to speed things up a little bit here. Yeah, see again the weird bags of boys. I love Gen 13, Trev, and I'll pick them up whenever I see that. You're not wrong either. Nomad number 7, I remember I picked this up because Gambit, who we just mentioned a few minutes ago, does appear in that. Yes, I did notice that. All these guys got little feet, but I mean that's nothing. That's nothing new. We haven't really ground shattering, I should say, that we haven't said before. Do you have the She Sideblade Battle for the Independence signed box set? No, I have just like one of the individual issues of that, I believe. And like one thing with her again, because this vendor just picks up some stuff I'm not really familiar with. If I see something cheap I'm not familiar with, I'll just check it out sometimes. So this is from Charlatan Comics. This is issue 9, Korg 70,000 BC. See you, Beckerman. Thanks for coming by, man. So that's cool. This is one I didn't buy. She just threw in here. That's pretty cool. I think everybody knows this one. Darkhawk 25. With that foil that haunted the 90s so much. Okay. Oh, I remember getting this one. This one was definitely a freebie. It's in tatters, but I can't even tell you what number this is right now. And this one I am going to keep in the bag. What is Rob Liefeld's favorite classic rock band? I have to think about that one. I'd probably say himself. If you've seen any of his live streams or his IG, then you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, this is a really beat up copy of Fantastic Four. I don't even know what issue it is. Again, that's literally just filling in a space here because this is, yeah. Put that over there. Little feet. It's okay. I know what you're trying to do, but yeah. Okay, New Defenders, number 131. Anytime I see Classic Beast, Iceman, and Angel, I'll jump into that. Okay. Okay, and this, I know I got one, but I guess you threw in 2. This is Alien Nation. I remember this as a TV series when I was a kid. Number 1, I have a yellow thing here and a blue thing on it. That's okay. So put that over here. Almost through this, I promise you. So this is from the Essential Vertigo. It's a reprint. It's not the original, of course. Sandman Dream Country. This is number 19, I believe. This is also from Vertigo. This is in a nicer bag and board, so I'll keep this one. This is purely spec. Scarab, number 1. Okay. One of the other runs I'm working on is Marvel Comics Presents, and she doesn't get them often, but when she does, I jump on them. This is Marvel Comics Presents number 29. I loved these as a kid. My favorite was when you could just flip them around and get to the other story. This one is a little bit earlier than that. So not only do you have a Wolverine and Havoc story in here, but you also have stories from Black Panther, Quasar, and Cold Blood, who probably is first and last issue in anything. Okay, here is the Mighty Thor number 404. Not the best shape. Looks like there's some water damage to that, but yeah, it's definitely yellowing the pages. But like I said, these are just cheap pickups. Ever seen which one, Trev? The Marvel Comics Presents? Sandman Mystery Theater, which I typically don't get, but I really dug this cover. Number 7. I like the Kabuki look on that. Kabuki's is another character that I'll pick up when I see. This is an ash can. Again, a table bag and board. For Force Works. Everybody remember that? Okay. I don't know that I didn't realize I got this one. Okay, this was from Helix, which was a DC. It's from Marvel Comics Presents, Trev. That's why. Chris, I have not watched it yet. Busy day yesterday. Maybe I might watch it today. My wife doesn't like horror stuff, so I'll have to watch it without her. This is a Garth Ennis one, Bloody Mary. I don't remember getting this one. She might be one that she just kind of threw in, but we'll see. Like I said, it took a couple months, not weeks or days, to put together. So that's why I'm kind of like a little thrown off. Captain Marvel issue number 2, or Marvel. I have a younger sister who is a teacher. So this is something I figure I'd give to her for her classroom. Marvel Adventures, so it's in all ages. The Avengers, number 17. Very cool. Ghost Rider, number 30, with Nightmare. Nightmare was one of my favorite villains at the time when I was reading, and he's just not in stuff anymore. And I think the last time I saw him, I think it was in a New Mutants? Like one of the past volumes. I just didn't like his appearance. I could be wrong on that. This was my favorite of the Supermen to pop out of Reign of the Supermen in the 90s. Here's Steel. This is number 12. Number 7. Close enough. Here's a thick one, and she just kind of threw this in. This is a Marvel Previews. Yeah, she had to throw this in. I usually don't get these. I'll grab them when they're free at my store or whatnot, but I wouldn't pay for it. That's why I say she probably just threw this in. Here's another one from She, The Masquerade. Very cool cover. Issue number 1. I don't know who did that, but I like it's kind of a watercolor fine art thing. Here, this is the last of the stack from here, I promise you. Freaks from the Ultraverse. I like grabbing the Ultraverse things. You never know when they're going to pop in. Remember, like Ms. Marvel with the Clandestine. Here's an older Avengers book, number 204. See ya. Thanks for stopping by, David. Almost there. Here's one everybody knows. Avengers West Coast. 56. Okay, we'll put that over here. Or West Coast Avengers. I always mix that up. Okay, this might be a mistake. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to have a Darkhawk giveaway because there's another one in here. So, not doing the giveaway this one, but again, you'll see that in a future giveaway, I promise. This one I don't even know. This is First Comics, Lord Cumulus. Looks like it's Mark Silvestri. I'm not familiar with this. Looks like a type of a Conan book. I'll have to look this one up. But it's Mark Silvestri. Can't go wrong, at least with the art. Here's another Marvel Comics Presents, number 173. And that is Vengeance on the cover. Here is another She, number 1. And this is I thought this was like one of their limited series on it. I don't know which one this is, though. Howard the Duck, number 23. Okay. The little guy's waking up. It's okay, we're almost done here. Hawk and Dove, number 4. See, Chris, this is how I don't go into DC that often, but when I do, I go like with the offshoots, like Hawk and Dove. Steel Year 1, Issue 2. You can have an Issue 2 of a Year 1. Uh-oh, he's up. Kind of a weird design for him, too. I don't like that. I feel like she may have just thrown that in because I wouldn't have gotten that one. Lucifer, number 50 from the Sandman series. I'm going to shut that off because I'm going to wrap up and throw these bags and boards out and wash my hands. DP7, I've been working on a little bit of run for that. Number 14 from Marvel's New Universe. And finally, this is a very cool cover. Chris, you're going to like this one. Legion of Superheroes, number 294. I like that cover a lot. And yeah, I bought that one strictly because of the cover. But, well, that is all I have for you this week. As I said, I have to shoot 2 videos. Hopefully I'll be getting that out today. One on my Battober days 1 through 7, Battober 2022 days 1 through 7. And the other, is another unboxing I have from Substack. Yeah, that's right. I had subscribed to 2 Substacks, and I no longer do. But one of them finally sent out a book, so I figured why not show that off. But thank you again for checking this out. Appreciate you guys doing so. I know I dragged a little bit with the unboxing, so I appreciate you sticking around. Thank you again for watching. Peace, love, and comics. Have a great weekend.